Let's talk a little bit about our vows and what sort of vows did we make to each other, and how have we used those vows maybe in times of struggle over the past 30 years. There have been some struggles in there, like every marriage has. I think there's been some ebb and flows in there. Let's talk a little bit about our vows and how they've helped us. So what were our vows?
We definitely went a bit more traditional with ours, the having to hold the sickness and health through good times and bad, because I think there's a reason those have stood the test of time, because they're important, and the obey one, that kind of went out when feminism, rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
The other ones, though, the fact that all the other ones are still used, there's a reason for that,
Right.
Because they're solid.
When I think about struggle and how the vows have helped us, if you take your vows seriously, then it gives you have to take responsibility to put those into action. They have to become your I don't like this term necessarily, but your essence, your core. They have to be things that you live by. For us, you and I have been very healthy. That's been good. So the sickness part physical health has been good, but we've struggled a bit with emotional health, mental health, those sort of things. And so we've had periods of life where we've had to support each other through air quotes of illness, right? However you want to define illness. I think our vows have given us that foundation of, no, I'm in this, and I might not understand what you're going through, or you might not understand what I'm going through, but you're in this to help me. So I think the vows for me, since we try to embody those vows, we try to live by those vows, has helped me be a better partner because I took those vows. I think if you cohabitate and you don't have that structure, do you maybe not weather those times where it gets rough?
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
No, that's very true. I was just what I had been thinking about earlier, which is I don't think about our vows much. Now they're just second nature. You've had a bad day, I'm there. What do you need? Do you need a hug? Do you need an ear? Do you need, what do you need? Do you need to be alone? It's second nature. I don't even think about them anymore, but they're there. So like for this, when we're thinking, okay, what were our vows? They're just a part of who we are. So
yeah, there's this, we were talking about this in our show prep, that there's things in our life that we do, they're actions we take. And then there are things in our life that just become part of us. And I think living by our vows has just become part of us. Another area of our vows was sickness and health, richer, poorer. And I think one of the areas we have really been intentional on that came sort of later in our marriage was the financial side of it. And we started with no money, decided to go pretty negative in money by going to school, right? Yeah. So we were living okay, but we had a ton of debt from school. We had a little bit of consumer debt. I think the supportive part and the financial part, 15 years ago or so, we sort of had a pivot in our approach to money and really got serious about, we have to get rid of all this debt. We cannot keep living this way. And I think having that shared foundational goal, but then also having that commitment of the vow is richer or poorer. We don't have to stay in the poor. Can we just be unified and work and move toward the richer part of that? And some of the struggles we had along the way of that was around motivation and discipline and decision-making and the intentional decisions to not live in the moment and spend, but to delay and to build some longer-term things. And I think when you cohabitate with somebody and you don't have those shared goals, do you have that? And you don't have those vows, do you have that same commitment? I don't know. Some people probably do, but I would say the majority don't. When you make your vows and you're building an entire life together with somebody, I think it helps you hit those goals a little stronger. So I think that's how the vows have sort of very concretely helped us in our 30 years. It's when we commit to something, put in that framework and it moves forward.
Yeah, absolutely.